Today's talk is an open cloud for researchers, staff, and students. This is a private-public partnership collaboration, if you like, between Walton Institute, SETU, and Red Hat. Our agenda is the who, what, why, when, where, and how we've done this. Let's start with the who. I'm Colm Dunphy. I'm 1.5 years at Red Hat, Senior Manager for the Office of the CTO, and I'm in Emerging Technologies at the moment. 30 years at SETU before this, a lecturer in computing, and I've also been a PI and researcher at the Walton Institute, previously known as TSSG.
I'm Jerry Horgan. I'm a lecturer in SETU for the last year, specialising in cloud networks and security. Previous to that, though, I was the head of division for research infrastructure and test beds in the Walton Institute, and I ran the research data centre there.
So who are the organisations involved in this collaboration? Well, Red Hat needs no introduction. SETU is a university in the southeast of Ireland, in Waterford City, 18,000 students, 2,000 staff. The MOC Alliance has many stakeholders, the academics, some of the more famous ones, Boston University, Harvard, and MIT. Industry stakeholders including Red Hat, Lenovo, IBM, Dell, AMD, and Intel.
The Walton Institute is the highest ranked ICT research centre in Europe for European funding. There's more than 80 researchers there. We've worked with 750 partners across over 450 projects. We're operating in 45 countries, and we've graduated more than 25 PhD students.
So who's this aimed at? Well, initially, this is effectively a startup cloud, so it's aimed at the students in SETU University, and also for staff and researchers in SETU, Walton, Red Hat in Waterford, and IBM in Waterford. So what is this open cloud? Well, on my first day in Red Hat, I learned about the MOC, and I thought this was fantastic, and this was the motivation for trying to get on board. So the vision of the MOC is to create an inexpensive production open public cloud, operated and governed by academic institutions for research and education. I learned yesterday that a GitHub project called Operate First was where this kicked off. Then in 2013, we had the MOC, and then that became an alliance in 2020, the MOC Alliance. Today, it's an open distributed platform enabling AI and ML workloads, leveraging Red Hat technology via university partnerships. So the features are, it's a large, diverse set of data sets that can be used for researchers, large-scale compute resource. There's over 100 GPUs on the MOC, 500 servers, and 156 petabyte of storage. And this is in the New England Research Cloud, which is housed in the Massachusetts Green High Performance Computing Center and makes use of NESI, the Northeast Storage Exchange. So this enables containers on Red Hat OpenShift, but also now AI as a service through OpenShift AI. There's lots of projects on the MOC, some that I'd like to mention: the AI for drugs discovery, the OKD community development, InstructLab on the MOC, and even Fedora. And you can learn more about these in the quarterly magazine, Red Hat Research Quarterly, which you can sign up for print or in PDF. But we're here to talk about the SETU Walton Open Cloud. And the Walton Data Centre operates EU projects and test beds on the European research grid. It's managed the National Irish Supercomputer for many years, and that has been repurposed in order to set up this cloud to provide a low-cost cloud to students, staff, and researchers. Currently, there's 3 OpenShift 5-node cluster setups. We have Walton OCP for testing it. We have SETU OCP for classes with SETU students. And we have the Red Hat OCP, where we're doing multi-cluster upstream development and research projects. It's managed through IDP, LDAP, except for the Red Hat one, where we are using a GitHub org to manage the access. And where we hope to go is to have Red Hat single sign-on for Red Hat cluster and the university single sign-on for the students and staff. And here's what the Red Hat OpenShift cluster console looks like with the nodes running. So why are we doing this? So everybody has their reasons. We look at each of them. The MOC Alliance has a strategy to expand globally the MOC from Massachusetts to North America, Canada, Africa, and Europe. Europe has GDPR issues, NIS2 compliance, export controls. So we're working with the MOC to try and resolve those. Walton is trying to provide a low-cost cloud infrastructure for students at the university, SETU, and currently has the OpenShift platform running on Ubuntu. University collaboration with Red Hat facilitates the move to Red Hat OpenShift AI running on RHEL, on bare metal and or OpenStack. For SETU, it's about cultivating the relationship with industry, in particular with Red Hat, preparing students for internships and employment, enabling students, staff, and researchers to practice open cloud technologies in a persistent way with predictable costs, not AWS costs, and full features access. And for Red Hat, it's about promoting the Red Hat strategy, open source, hybrid cloud, AI, and Red Hat technologies, cultivating future talent and strengthening the university relationship. So the when, let's look at the timeline. So as I said, day one, November 12 months ago, I'm looking at the MOC on all the screens in the office, and I'm thinking, we really want to get involved in this. Informal discussions started in Q2 24 about the MOC, supercomputer, and the data center. Q3 24, we had hardware installation, repurposing that supercomputer, completed in the data center. And then in Q1 25, we had the first configuration complete. 3 single node clusters, 2 terabytes of storage per cluster, and the first class of students at SET using it for that semester, and also the Red Hat Waterford RH-OCTO team starting to make use of it. That led to a reconfiguration of the Red Hat cluster so that we could do multi-cluster work, reconfiguring it into multi-node clusters and additional lectures and Red Hat engineers being added to the SET Walton cluster. Then the plan for next quarter is to tear it down and rebuild it again during the summer to have more efficient use of resources, add capacity to introduce the new features. So where is this? The location is in Ireland, the southeast. This is a picture of the data center, which is on the Waterford Greenway, and that's the tech lead, John, configuring it in the data center. So how is this happening?
So our background is really in OpenStack, and so when we started coming into OpenShift, we wanted to see all the different components within OpenShift, how they were configured, how they interacted with each other, and then how they would interact with our own back-end infrastructure. So initially we started with a couple of all-in-one nodes, just to get our eye in with that, excuse me. And then we started taking all those components from the supercomputer, and we started building these highly available OpenShift clusters. And we started iterating across these, using our internal users as alpha testers, and eventually we kind of iterated through these with multiple reconfigurations, updates, and upgrades to it, adding capabilities, until we effectively settled on 3. And those 3 then configurations that we had were, as Colm has said, the Walton OCP, the SETU, and the Red Hat one. And then even with them, as they were deployed and people were onboarding and we were getting our beta testers in there, we still had to add additional features. So within the Walton one, we had to add LVMs for snapshots so that we could instantiate stuff. We were effectively trying to replicate OpenStack on OpenShift, so we needed a lot of virtual machines. That's what we were bringing in. So we were looking for a nice, easy migration path from OpenStack to OpenShift before we started taking all the additional OpenShift features. We had iSCSI and NFS then for persistent volume claims in the back end, but then as we got in with the students, we saw that we needed external networks because we needed to sandbox students, we need public and private networks for some of what they were doing, and then Red Hat were quite interested in looking at advanced cluster management configurations. So again, even in that setup there, you can see that there's a couple of all-in-one clusters as well as a hybrid cluster in that environment. So currently, this is how it is. We've turned on container registries. We've implemented a lot of the DevOps operators for these modules. We have 2 MSc modules on it now. We have an information security module, and we have a design patterns module. We've added GPUs to the cluster, so you've not seen that in any of the images there. We're using ACM, and over the summer then and over into the autumn, we're going to bring in Data Foundation, and we're now looking at the Kubernetes CNI plugins for the Cisco so that we can get more network performance out of the system.
Okay, so what's the impact of this? Here's the number of users that we've currently got on this setup. Our next steps, to have OpenShift on OpenStack on RHEL to gain more efficient use of the nodes and the storage. We're also looking at bringing in an IBM Z mainframe. We hope to add this in the coming months. IBM Z17 is the first mainframe optimized for AI workloads, particularly good for inferencing using the Telum 2 processor and the Spire accelerator. And that's quite exciting because we can get involved, hopefully, to enable VLLM, PyTorch, and LLMD projects on this mainframe. So if you need access, if you're in Red Hat, at C Dunphy, and I'll discuss with you, C Dunphy at redhat.com, and that's my LinkedIn details. Just a special thanks to John Ronan and Martin Tolan, who couldn't be here today, and they're the tech leads at Walton who've been enabling this. And we'll take questions. Yes?
You briefly mentioned GDPR and highlighting you with your project and the courses and researchers in the university. I know how much we are pressured to be responsible about the security, data management plan, and all of it. So how are you circumnavigating those issues?
So that's just kicked off. The question is around how we're working to resolve the GDPR issue on the cloud. So the MOC at the moment is in America. They don't have GDPR. All the data on the MOC is available for anybody to use. So that means that if you are a European project, you can't put your data on the MOC as it currently stands. And that's where the opportunity comes in, is how can we resolve it. The Walton Data Center has been running the European Research Grid for many years. So they know all about the GDPR. And that collaboration is kicked off. I think we've had about 3 meetings so far. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, folks. Thank you very much for your time this morning.